thank you all for coming. A bit of background on me. I'm the director of Remote Digital. My background is I'm self-taught with pretty much everything I do. I've been doing this for over 10 years and I've worked on thousands of projects across doing development, doing all the digital marketing and doing all this sort of stuff. So I've got a lot of experience. And over the years, as a front-end developer, I've written over millions and millions of lines of code. So I do know what I'm talking about with a lot of this stuff. So I'm interested to know, do we have any fellow developers in the audience? Oh yeah, there's one. That's good. That's good. Is it business owners and entrepreneurs? A few of those around. Creative people? Anyone? No creatives? Marketing? Anyone in marketing? Cool. And the rest of you, I assume you're starting businesses or just here to learn, something like that, hopefully. Cool. Well, we've got a lot to get through. Today I want to go through my top tips to do with AdWords and email marketing. So you'll definitely get some key takeaways today. So if you don't, come and see me and I'll give you some more afterwards. So let's go through it. Let's start off with AdWords. Now, one of the things that people come up and tell me all the time is, okay, so I'm ranking really well on search engines. I don't really need to be doing Google AdWords. Well, that's not really the way it works. Chances are you're not ranking for all the phrases that you could probably target with Google AdWords. One of the key things around that as well is that when you actually have a look at the results, and sorry about the screen by the way, this is a stretched version of what search results standard look like. If we have a look here, these are the organic rankings here. So when you have a look here, it's only a fraction of what you're seeing on this page. This is your Google AdWords here. So it's dominating the results. So if you're not there, you're probably not being found. If you're the top spot for organic, you're already down in number 4 spot. So you really want to be up there hitting both spots. If you're here and here, that's the best because you're just going to be found more often. In addition to this, there's things like data sharing. So you can find out things in your AdWords that you're getting great results from, getting conversions from, and then push that into your SEO. And so the other thing as well is if you're just starting out and you're just doing SEO, it takes a while to get moving. So while that's happening, if you use Google AdWords to help push you up, that's going to give you a lot faster results to help your SEO along the way as well. Okay, so how does it work? Well, where's all the bid? How do I get higher up on the page with my AdWords rankings? Now, a lot of people think that it's all just how much you pay, but there's more to it than that. How much you pay is just one fraction. How it works is there's a thing called a quality score. How that works is you've got your AdWords campaign set up, which is linked to a bunch of keywords. So you select the keywords that you want, and then you create ads to match those keywords. Now, for example, if you put t-shirts as a keyword, and your ad is talking about shoes, and that ad for shoes is going to a page talking about shoes. When Google looks at that, really, you're not showing t-shirts. So if you put that key phrase in there, that's not very good. So they don't want you to show there. So they'll give you a low quality score. So when you take the quality score that you get and then times that by the bids, that's how you rank. So for example, if I have a quality score of 10 and I'm paying $1 for my bids, then I've got effectively 10 as a score. If on the other turn, I've got a quality score of 1 and I'm paying it $1, my score's about 1. So having a good quality score is really the best way to get up so that you're not paying too much for bids. On the other hand, so really, if you match the keywords with the ad, with the landing page, you're going to get a great quality score. You're going to pay a lot less to run your AdWords. So once you do your ads, what sort of things can we do to create the ads? Now, you're probably used to seeing just plain text ads. You've got a heading, you've got a couple of lines below it, but there's a lot more that you can chuck on your ads that, depending on the industry, you may or may not have seen. So here's an example for shoes and t-shirts and folding trolleys. These are some ads that have some extensions turned on. So I'm just going to go through what each of these extensions are and how to turn them on. So down the bottom here, this one is what's called a location extension. This is basically the address of your office or something like that. It's not paramount for e-commerce. You probably won't use it that much unless you've got a physical store. But if If you are a service industry, this is probably something that you'll use quite often, so people know where you are and they can say, oh, this company is nearby, we can just contact them and go see them, or whatever it may be. One of my favourite ones though is one that's little known, and it's only been out for a little while, is this one here. These phone numbers are not the phone numbers of the actual companies. These are call forwarding numbers. What this is a call extension, and the call extension allows you to track calls that you're getting from Google Adwords. Now, the brilliance in this is that often companies tell me that they can't track where the calls have come from, because really, if someone says it comes from search, has it come from organic, has it come from AdWords, you just don't know. What this does is it enables us to track all the calls that have come from Google AdWords. So using this number, it will forward the call to your phone number, to your current phone number, and then when the call is answered, it will count that as a conversion. And you can set the time that the call needs to last for in order for that conversion to count. It's very useful for virtually all walks of business. If you have a phone, you should turn this on because it's very useful. This one here is another more recent one. These are call-out extensions. These call-out extensions allow you to talk about your key differentiating factors in your business. So when we have a look here, these guys have said they've got 14 years experience, Australia-wide delivery, online pricing, and singlets. That last one's not very good, but the others are very helpful to see the differentiating factors between one business and another. So by turning these on, you're enabling yourself to stand out from the crowd and also let people know about the key differentiating factors of your business. One that you've probably seen quite often is these site links extensions. And these site links extensions allow you to do things like direct people straight to a certain part of the store. So for example, women's shoes, men's shoes. So this is if I'm searching for shoes, chances are I'm going to want one of those two things. So I can quickly click on one of those and go directly to it. So depending on what you're selling will depend on the purpose of this. This is an example for shoes, this is an example for t-shirts. Depends on what you're selling, but if there's a broad key phrase which has stuff that you can split in between, it's a great way to send visitors to where they need to get to quickly without waiting for them to get onto the site. The last one's bigger in the US than it is here. It's not really used very often. So we've got, this is called review extensions. Now, if you've got lots of reviews on Google+, if you haven't enabled Google+ or aren't using it, it's really worth looking into for search engine reasons, not so much for the social media, but look into it. But that's a talk for another day. But if you've got lots of reviews on there, you can enable this and it will actually put those reviews on your actual ad, which is brilliant if you've got lots of reviews like Style Tread does here. These really, you can enable as many of these as you want. Google will pick what it will show at any given time. So you just got to pick what you want. If they're all relevant, turn them all on and Google will work out what's best. Okay, so hands up how many people here have an e-commerce store already? Okay, how many of you have actually seen a shopping feed or have your shopping feed hooked up into Google? Okay, only a couple. All right, so this is very powerful. Now, if we have a look at here, this here is what they call Google Shopping. This is shopping results sent from a website across to Google. So this will give information about pricing, pictures of the products, all sorts of stuff about your products, and it's all sent directly from your store across to Google. So you don't have to do anything but maintain your store. As long as your store information is up to date, Google's got it all and it's going to push them there. Works in much the same way with a bidding system, but it's very worthwhile setting up. As long as your store's set up well, it's relatively easy to do. This also comes up in the shopping tab, which you can see by clicking the shopping tab at the top here. If you guys are shoppers, online shoppers, this is a great way to find products that you want and compare products very quickly. If you shop based on price or whatever it may be, this is great. So as a seller, you need to get out there and get in front of people because this is becoming a more popular way for people to shop. And Google's doing a lot in the way of this to push forward. But what if you don't have an e-commerce site? What if you're just a brick and mortar store? Do we have anyone that's running brick and mortar stores but no e-commerce? No? No? well, this might not be as relevant to you, but basically coming up soon, it's not released here yet, but it's coming soon, you'll be able to send your stock levels of particular stock from your point of sale system across to Google so that you can come up in that shopping feed for people looking for your product nearby. So for example, if I'm looking for a particular pair of shoes that I love, I can go on there, I can Google it, I've found them, they're at a shop just down the road, I can go down and get it. This is a great way for people that don't want to have that e-commerce experience to get found and get their brick and mortar stores tracked. And this, to me, is a game changer for anyone in that space. So keep an eye out for it. It won't be too long. I'm hoping in the next 3 to 6 months that will come out here in Australia. That sums up all my Google AdWords stuff. So now I want to talk about email marketing. So you've got the customers in. So how do we keep touching base with them, and what's the best practices to do around that? My first tip is really to keep it simple. We don't want to bombard people with too much information in their email. This is a common setup of an email that gets sent out, and nobody likes to read them. You've got just text everywhere, nothing stands out. I just don't want to read. Nobody likes looking at their emails. So let's not make them look at their emails. Something like this is much better. It's a nice big graphic, a short headline, and a call to action on the end. If you can get the person's attention in that inbox, that's great. Give them a short heading that says exactly what it is. This is a campaign for Fitbit that they did over Christmas. Fitbit is a great gift to give at Christmas time. It was very popular this year, and so it's something that's a good gift to give to virtually anyone. So if you couldn't think of what to give, they've sent this email out to you and you're like, okay, that's a great gift to hand out. And then they've told you how to get it. There's a call to action there saying shop now, I can get it now. Quick and easy. Once they've clicked that button and they've gone through the site, they're more likely now to spend time to look into what that product is and get more information. They're not as likely to do that in email, just because people don't like sitting on email all day. But if they've done an action first, they're going to spend more time looking at that product. Okay, so unsubscribes. So this is one that's really relevant. If you do your email campaigns well, you shouldn't worry about unsubscribes. I personally like unsubscribes. When unsubscribes come in, because I know I've done the emails well, I know I've followed all the right steps, it means that people aren't interested in the products I'm trying to sell. I don't want to bombard people that don't want to see my content. So using unsubscribes as a measure is not effective. So as long as you do everything else well, don't worry about unsubscribes, let people unsubscribe. Keep your list lean, and that's a much more effective way you're going to be talking to people that want to see your content. And that's better for everyone. If you're sending out batch emails, so that's one email campaign that just goes out to everyone or a specific segment of customers, think about what time you're sending it, because the particular time, depending on the market, is more effective. For example, if I'm a business to business, I don't want to hit people up on a Monday, I don't want to hit people up on a Wednesday, and I don't want to hit people up on a Friday when they're having drinks. Monday they're bombarded with work and they've got too much stuff to do. Wednesday's hump day, nobody likes hump day. So you think about the time that you're sending it. If you've got a takeaway business, Friday night's usually takeaway night. They've gone out for drinks, let's go have takeaway. So hit them up on Friday night. Think about your business, who you're targeting, when are they gonna be most likely to read their email. If you're not sure, you can use things in MailChimp. MailChimp, for example, has a tool you can pick a day and they'll tell you the best time on that day to target your mailing list based on what they've already done to open it. It's a hugely handy feature, so if you use MailChimp, that's great and that's really handy. Okay, so what if you've got a large database? So say you've got a large database of, say, and when I say large, it could be 5,000, it could be 1 million. Think about sending out emails in batches. That is, separate the client base that you're sending out to. Now, a lot of email systems will automate this for you. The concept is this. So rather than sending out the email to 5,000 people all at once, and then you have 5,000 people trying to come into your store, trying to use your site, they're not going to get the best experience. Regardless of your hosting setup, it's not the best way to do it. You can send it out in batches by sending out, say, a batch of 4 and then separating them by 10 minutes apart. What's going to happen then is that your users are going to get a much better experience when they get to the site. They're not trying to rush on with 100 other people all at the same time. They're all going to have the best experience that you can give. So if you've got a large mailing base, think about doing this. If you've got less than 1,000, it's not really worth worrying about. It's just when you got over 1,000, start to send them out in batches so you're not bombarding your site. You can think about it as if you're a retailer store and then you've got a door and everyone's trying to walk in the door at the same time. It's not the best. And then when they're in there, it's too busy, there's not enough shopkeepers to look after them. Online stores the same. If you can separate that flow and send them all in at different times, they're going to get the best experience and your server's not going to get overloaded. What else can you do besides batch emails? Well, there's a stack more that you can do if you have an e-commerce site. So let's have a look at the first one. So this is what we call a cart abandonment email. So someone's gone through, they've gone to the checkout, they've put all their details in, but for some reason they haven't purchased. Now this can happen all the time. If your site isn't set up well or whatever, there could be a number of reasons why someone's gone through that process and they've got scared and they haven't checked out. So what do? We can send them an email like this, just saying, was there a problem? Is there something I can do to help you out, to help you finish your purchase? In this email, we can give things like a coupon. So say you're scared by the shipping price or something like that. We can give them a coupon, which means if they come back within the next day to finish that purchase, we'll give them 10% off. Whatever you can do to get that sale to come through is great because it costs a lot of money to get customers in the door. So once you got them in the door, you want to make sure they convert. So simple things like this are a great automated way for you to touch base with that customer to try and get them to close that sale. So once you've had the sale, and I think this client, can you see that mark? This is your brand here. This client, we'll just set this up for them. This is a follow-up email. So you can send follow-up emails a number of days after a purchase. So say you know that they're going to get their product within 5 days. 7 days afterwards, we might send them an email saying, how did you think about your purchase? And here's a discount if you want to buy from us again. So with these guys, we did a 15% off their purchase so that they can come back within the next month and get an extra discount. If we can get a repeat purchase from that first-time customer, that is brilliant because they're more likely to give us brand loyalty and stick with us in the long term. Another one that you can do is an add-ons email. So say you've got a product, for example, a bicycle. A bicycle, you've got a stack of things that can go on it. You've got drink bottle holders, you've got helmets, you've got all these accessories that you can chuck onto a bike. So a person just buys a bike. So what about the accessories? They're probably going to need them. So let's send them an email with a bunch of accessories that they can add onto their bike. They may not have browsed your site for a very long time. They may have just been looking at the bike. So let them know what else they can purchase in addition to the bike in order to get the purchase that they want and all the bits and pieces very easily. So that's just some of the ideas, and all this is about building loyalty and building sales, as well as educating the customer on all the services that you have. And best of all those emails that I just showed you can be automated, so you're not manually doing them. You're touching base with your customers without having to lift a finger, which is very, very, very important. So thank you all for coming. That's my 10 tips around these 2 areas. If you got stuck along the way and you want to discuss anything further, please come and see us. We're just over at the stand 4012. If you didn't get these include the tips that have gone through just as a reminder today, as well as another 10 tips to do with SEO and social media as well in there. So this is just handy if you're doing this stuff for yourself to give you an idea of what's going on. So I hope you got something out of that. If you didn't, I'm sorry for wasting your time. But feel free to come and see us after the show, and thank you all for coming.
Mortar Digital exists to provide a streamlined way to grow your business through digital, at a fraction of the cost of the big agencies. Our alliance with Big Picture Group and Bellman gives a big agency footprint without the overheads. At Emote, we're different.